welcome Dr. Gulnur Polkina.
Good morning, dear distinguished colleagues, educators, conference participants, and students. I'm glad to be here. I have already mentioned that it is my first time being in Vietnam. Well, but it's not my first time talking to Vietnamese people. Okay. It's my really distinct honor to speak to you at our partner university, Ho Chi Minh University of Foreign Languages and Information Technologies, and for this wonderful international conference. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude, first of all, to the university president, Dr. Haman Chan, yeah? Should we say Tran? Yeah. Vice Chief of the University Council, Dr. Nguyen Antoine, and Vice President of HUFLIT University, Associate Professor Dr. Wu. I know you as Dr. Nguyen Ngoc Wu. Yeah, it's really, I'm really happy to be here. And thank you for organizing such a conference and inviting me to participate in this conference. Really, this is a great opportunity for teachers to communicate, to share ideas, yeah, and to come home with something new, with some innovations. Well, and before I proceed with my topic, integration of local history and cultural materials into English language teaching as a basis for the development of multicultural personality, I would like to share with you some introductory story. A few years ago, my home city of Naberezhnye, Chelny, was visited by a group of international students. Yeah, and when they approached our local students and asked them some questions about the history of one magnificent building and the architecture of this building and what it means, well, our students were tongue-tied. They couldn't, they were grasping for the vocabulary. They simply couldn't recall who built it, yeah? Well, ironically, they could describe Big Ben. They could describe Trafalgar Square. They could also speak about London as the capital of Great Britain, yeah? And other cultural landmarks of the countries, of different countries, yeah? Of the English-speaking countries. But when they were asked to explain something that is close to them, something that is their own city, yeah? Oh. Okay. Doesn't go. They lacked not only certain words, but also the experience of representing their own cultural environment in the English language. They lacked that experience. Well, look, this is town Naberezhnye, Chelny in Tatarstan. Tatarstan is one of the, this is a republic in Russia. And I'm also a Tatar, a representative of Tatar. Besides, I'm a representative of a Russian, and then English, of course. Well, and this incident illustrates an important gap in contemporary English teaching. For decades, English language textbooks have invited learners to explore London, New York, Sydney, other English-speaking countries, yeah, and other internationally recognized locations. However, students are really taught to use English to introduce the world to their own cities, to their own traditions, to their historical figures, to some family stories, to cultural practices, yeah? And this leads to a question. What is the purpose of learning a foreign language if learners cannot use it to communicate their own thoughts? If they are not able to speak about the region they live in, if they can't share their own traditions with the world, with the global world. Yes, of course, English is, nobody argues that English is lingua franca and the world speaks English in order to communicate. We need it for intercultural communication. And today, at this international conference, we all communicate English because the language helps us to share the ideas, to share some practices, yeah? And today I want to discuss the integration of local culture and regional history into the English classroom. This is the approach that, please next, that serves to transform our students from passive consumers of another culture into ambassadors of their own cultural heritage by using the English language as a bridge. Well, if we speak about language, culture, and learner's identity, we all know that language and culture cannot be separated. And teaching a foreign language, we also teach a foreign culture. Then, can we say that can we admit that teachers of the foreign languages are teachers of the foreign cultures? Okay, you can relate to it, yeah? And our theoretical foundations and the research that is still in progress, it is not finished, it is not complete. We still carry it out, yeah? Is the following. Well, wait a bit. Yeah, foundations. So, language is the well-known German linguist Claire Kramsch, in her well-known book, Language and Culture, she says that, and I quote her, "Language is a principal means through which people conduct their social lives that is connected with culture in multiple and complex ways." Really, language is connected with culture, not only our foreign culture, but it is also connected with our culture, yeah? Because the first speaker mentioned that we first think in Vietnamese, or we think in the Russian language first, or in Tatar language. I also speak Tatar language. This is my native language. I am Tatar girl. Yeah, woman. Okay. And we think Vietnamese, yeah. And and only then we use the language. That's why we should share our point of view through the language. And language should be a bridge, just a bridge. Yeah. And the relationship, And another, her quote is, "The search for the third place is the attempt to find a position between the first and the second culture from which to observe and evaluate both." Yes, when students learn English, they encounter ways of interpreting experience, organizing local relationships, expressing some values, and representing their identity. And the relationship should not be understood as one directional way from learner's culture towards the culture of the target language. English should be used English is used internationally by people with different linguistic, national, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds, right? Therefore, English education should prepare the learners not only to understand cultures associated with the English-speaking countries, yeah? But also to communicate their own history to the others, yeah? For example, when Dr. Wu was in Naberezhnye, Chelny, in Naberezhnye Chelny State Pedagogical University in Russia, he shared with us some traditions, Vietnamese traditions, I learned from him, this, yeah, this sign, yeah, this way we shared not only, of course we shared some scholarly views, yeah, but we shared also traditions, some customs, speculated about the history of the country, right? Well, this is also supported by Canadian linguist Dr. Michael Byram, who emphasizes the importance of beginning intercultural reflection with the learner's own cultural experience before introducing the target language. And before introducing the target culture. The next, please. Similarly, also Claire Cramsh advocates for placing the foreign culture alongside the learner's own culture, so that to facilitate a deeper linguistic and cultural understanding. Well, this is what we have taken for our foundation. And now here you see the research questions. Let me not read them to you, yeah? This is the questions that we were going to answer during the research. Something with me. Wait. These were the research questions, and will you with the next slide? We have, during the research, we have developed some modules. This is the project which was initiated by the collaborative group, comprising associate professors from Naberezhnye Chelny State Pedagogical University, also me heading it, included, yeah. Experienced secondary school teachers who have the experience about 15 years of teaching. And there were a group, the project group of enthusiastic students. These were 5th and 4th year students majoring in the English language. And our approach is to developing local historical and cultural content, which stems from the premise that language learning becomes more meaningful when connected to personal experience. Awareness of the value of one's heritage builds intercultural communication confidence. We understand that students feel confident when they speak about something that they know in their native language or from their own experience. For example, they are sure to speak, they are sure to share with you some family stories because it is easy for them to speak about it. Well, and when a student realizes that English is a tool to explain the Tatar national holiday, for example, Sabantui, well, there is such a holiday, and Dr. Wu was a witness of this event. Yeah, he knows. Well, Sabantui, that is spring festival, usually carried out in June, and everyone knows it in Tatarstan, yeah? Well, and or when they share some grandmother's, will you please, next, recipe for the traditional dessert, chak-chak, for example, yeah? Or discuss some family traditions. The language in this case ceases to be just the subject. The language becomes, as the previous speaker, the first speaker mentioned, learner's voice, yeah? Well, and we teachers have to hear that voice. We have to share the voice. Well, it was a pilot implementation, and you see the participants of this were, this is a small sample, of course. Well, if you look at it, well, this is a small sample of students, just 28 students, yeah? Well, and from grade 8, yeah, at school, we carried out it at school. Well, all the modules were developed for the school children of the 8th grade. Yeah, and the development of in the development of the modules, students of English language department participated, yeah, and they were rather committed to this work. And thus, in this case, well, the period of the implementation took us about a period of 16 weeks. Well, and that was September till December 2025, yeah? Well, and the modules were Welcome to Tatarstan, National Holidays, Where History Begins. Well, these were semi-authentic texts, yeah? Paired with some authentic QR codes, with some guidebooks, some Tatar communities abroad speeches, yeah? Well, and we look at it as English serves as a tool for authentic intercultural communication, then a tool for assimilation. We wouldn't like our students to get assimilated and just to mimic some other country, yeah? We would like them to stay, to show their identity. And we are all different, but what we share is communication. Well, and when different people communicate, we come up with more ideas. Well, in this globalized world, we are changing. The world is changing, and we are changing. And that's why we could be representatives not only of one identity, but representatives of many, yeah? But we shouldn't forget about our culture, about our traditions, about our customs, and students, and we should teach students to be proud of what they are, who they are, yeah? And they should be able to tell the world who they are, yeah? Well, and please the next, yes, there was modules, yeah. Have a look at the modules, well, they are connected, well, and on the right you see the modules developed, well, the contents, yeah. Well, of course, we have taken for the, as an example, we have taken some authentic textbooks, but integrated our own history, our own culture into this textbook. As I have already mentioned, this is only the beginning, well, the pilot study, yeah? And that's why there are not so many findings, and the findings are not that important, perhaps, or they are just for us to go on with this study. Well, what about the time? Is it okay? Well, the next module, please. Will you show the second module? Well, this is Sabantu. Have a look. Well, this is Tatar National Festival, and I would like to introduce to you some Tatar dessert. Well, this is chak-chak. That is a symbol of respect, a symbol of communication. This is a symbol of prosperity also. And today, well, I have chak-chak to you to present, so that you should try it at your university. Well, just a small one, but usually it is made as a mount, well, as a molehill, yeah? Well, because, well, there are a lot of pieces here, yeah? And when all these pieces are soaked in honey, yeah, in honey, well, it becomes one big piece. And so is the world, yeah? And the pieces could be different. They shouldn't be, every piece should be the same, yeah? The same, we are different. And let's make such a chak-chak, and I would like Dr. Antoine, well, yeah? Take this chak-chak, and perhaps your teaching staff will try it, or your guests will hear. Please. Well, wait. I should take it like this. Well, Dr. Wu, will you tell me what's the time? It's okay? Is it okay? Yeah? Yeah, next, please. Well, this is the next module, well, which speaks about the history of Tatarstan, yeah? And the study was conducted, and materials were, as I mentioned already, were designed by the student project group of the university. Well, the project group is entitled as Tatarstan Language and Culture, History and Modernity. At the Department of Romano-Germanic Languages and Teaching Methods of Naberezhnye Chelny State Pedagogical University. And you have seen the modules, and within these developed modules, well, there were inquiry-based tasks, group research work, and project-based activities. And some of them were like, hold a survey among your classmates to find out what ethnicity or what nationality they belong to, yeah, and presents the results in a graphic form. Or there was some other, like working groups create a seasonal calendar of Tatar holidays to present it to your group mates. There was also web quest and different other, we encourage students to interview their grandparents, to look into family archives, and then translate these personal histories, personal stories into the English language, or writing an essay about some historical event affected their specific family in our region. So the English language becomes the instrument of deep emotional expression. And when it is personally connected, we know about, we all heard about affective filter, introduced by Stephen Krashen, Well, and this helps us to overcome this affective filter. And each module featured an integrated lesson in which incorporates non-linear texts, infographics, diagrams, timelines, besides audio-visual materials. These were reports of Tatar diasporas abroad. Coded texts, they were featuring some reversed letters, redacted sections, picture-based encryption, please, the next, please. And as a final assessment, there was a the next slide, please. Look, we have chosen the material for the modules in the way, for example, if we speak about London, then we speak about Kazan as the capital of Tatarstan, Have you ever been to Kazan? I would like you to come to Kazan, to the capital of Tatarstan, and of course to my native city, Naberezhnye, Chelny. And this year in May, next year in May, we are also having a great event, conference, the Pedagogical Forum. This is the event, every year event, annual event, In May, usually we have Pedagogical Forum, where teachers from different parts of the country and foreign countries come, partners university come, and we discuss and debate some problems or some issues connected with the methods of teaching, teaching curriculum, and the rest, So please go on as the next. If we speak about the tube in London, then we speak about also the tube in Kazan, you see some features of it, thank you. And the results. And there were, as a final assessment, there was a linguocultural quiz, and there were 5 categories with 4 questions of verifying difficulties. This was administered to the school students, and the quiz consists of 5 categories: culture and traditions, folklore, famous people, linguistic features, and geography. And each category included 4 questions of different difficulty, as I mentioned, level. And you see now the table. Will you show the table? Next slide, please. The table which gives us the results of the students, of the grade 8 students. Culture, in the category culture and traditions, the students got, we see that the correct answers, 77%, were correct answers. In linguistic features, we see just moderate, 60% were correct answers. At the same time, pay attention that in the areas, folklore, geography, famous people, there is deficit area. There were some deficiencies, yeah? And not so, well, 55 is, that is half of the students failed to answer the questions, yeah? And the results of this task completion showed that non-linear texts develop predictive skills and the ability to condense information. Yeah, video materials contributed to the development of listening and comprehension, listening comprehension and pronunciation skills, some situational motivation and fixation of culturally marked words, culturally marked vocabulary, yeah? And those coded texts activated some mechanisms of linguistic guesswork and anticipation. And you see that our preliminary observations revealed that there is excessive problematization at the initial stage, yeah? Well, and the so-called examples like comparing Tatar and British harvest festivals were used here, and students successfully completed these tasks, demonstrating readiness to express their opinions and debate in English. Well, but we see that there are some deficit areas, and we are going to work on these areas and to develop some more modules, well, speaking about historic events, some heroes, some characters and famous people in Tatarstan. Well, and due to the pilot nature of this study, well, you understand that the methodology also has some limitations. Well, for example, absence of a control group, you may ask me, yeah? Small sample of students, yes, I agree with this, and lack of randomization. But we are planning to do it in our full-scale quasi-experimental study. It is next step. Well, thank you for being with me, listening to me. Well, and I hope that we shall meet in the future in Pedagogical Forum in Naberezhnye, Chelny next time. Yeah, thank you.